What's going on? Forgive me if this one doesn't turn out good cinematically. I'm trying to do this on my camcorder that I've had for a while. I actually haven't used it in a long time. Last time I used it, I was using it to record podcasts. I took it to a friend of mine's house, Seth. I talked about him in the first one, and we tried to do some podcasts on it, and I thought it would be neat to kind of record them and put them on there in video form. Thought it might make it more interesting and help retain some viewers and whatnot. And it ended up happening one time and never again. So give me some credit while I'm still trying to work this out with this camera. Figured to start this video off kind of explaining what the goals are for this shed. I know we kind of hit on it in the first video when in the explanation on kind of what's going on with the channel and what it's supposed to be about. So I figured I would go ahead and talk more about this and see this week maybe about getting some plywood to start the walls. And start putting those up, because really that's all I like in here from finishing this thing up is putting the walls up. And I was gonna, I debated for a long time of what to do for the flooring and for the walls, but it ended up I was thinking too much about it and what I was gonna do, and I needed to just simplify it down is what it amounted to. So I did. I simplified it down. We're just gonna do OSB plywood walls, and I'm gonna put those up. We're probably just going to paint them, paint the floor with just some normal Rust-Oleum paint, and I've got a bunch of cedar that I got from an individual. It's all like number 2 stuff, so it's got some knots and some, some rotten spots, and it's kind of rusticy looking. And I'm going to rip them down to 2 or 3 inches, maybe 4 inches wide, and probably do those as baseboards around the floor to kind of break up the wall from the floor. I've still yet to decide what to do as far as color for the walls and the floor, but I'm still leaning heavily on a black floor with like a smoky gray, charcoal gray wall. And I know I'm going to catch some flack for that, because why would you do that? You're just making your space look smaller. You're taking away your light. I've got 25,000 lumens in a 12 by 24 shed. I've got plenty of light. It'll be okay. I've got 2 windows. I'm going to have the light, not to mention what lamps I plug in. So I'm not worried about light. And if it does get to the point where I can't see because there's not enough light, I will go get better lights. So I'm not that concerned with it. Like I said, there's also, right here, that's where I'm going to have a workshop. I'm going to put a bench right here and go across. And that tag is where I'll have like a top-down light so you can see what you're doing on the workbench. That's why over here on this side I've got this tag, because on this side I was going to do a bar, and that would be where I have my like rustic accent light that go over the bar. But yeah, I've done all this by myself. The building itself was brought in. I didn't build this building. It was brought in from a company that manufactures buildings, like portable buildings. So they brought it in for me, and that was in February of this year. And up until recently, maybe a month ago or so, I'd been working on it pretty well non-stop, around the clock, and putting in the insulation. I did the wiring myself. I got power run out here. I'll show you where the power come from my house. So power I've got running through here, and it comes in, or comes out rather, from a hole in the wall I've got over there. And I strung it along here, trying to keep it nice and neat as I can be. And then actually trenched the whole way by hand, the whole way down here. And come in right there. Those are my 3 lines that I've got going into the building. You can't see them, but there's 3 there. Because I'm pretty particular on how I do my electrical work. I'm not saying I'm no licensed electrician by no means, but I am very particular in how I do things with it. I wanted everything as individual on a circuit as it can be. My lights are on one independent circuit. The left hand side of the building's on one independent circuit, and the right hand side is on a different circuit. So so I done all that, got the insulation. After I put my boxes in, tagged them all up, and did the lights, but I put my insulation in. That was a chore and a half. Holy crap. Insulation was way more expensive than I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to get out of doing insulation fairly cheap. That is not the way it come about. Insulation was very expensive compared to what I thought it was going to be. But it's okay. It got done. Not that big of a deal. So the walls are going to be OSB. I think it's going to be 7/16 as the thickness, because I just went by these normal tabs on the box. It's just the uniform way. It was a way to get all of them the same for me without having to carry around a tape measure everywhere I went, or some sort of stick to measure it out. I didn't want to do all that. I would just rather go with the tags on it and let it go like that. Not that big of a deal to me. So it comes out to millimeters difference between the 7/16 and the thickness of that spot on the box. So that is not much of a difference for me, not enough to make anything different. I'll still be able to put the plates on and it'll be flush. You'll never even know. It'll look fine. But that's the plan now. Like I said, I don't know if I'll get to do that this week, but I'm definitely going to get to it soon. If not this week, it'll be the week after. But that's the plan for that. And I'd mentioned that also that the theme of this place was going to be like I want to do it in a retro, steampunk, rustic vibe. I have a real big love for gears and the iron antique decor and such like that. So I'm going to attempt to go to as many flea markets and places like that I can go to and get some signage. I'm going to try to find some industrial gears and industrial things, possibly some steam looking stuff, anything like that. If I could find stuff that was steam powered, that would be the quintessential perfect items, but I think I'm probably going to have a lot of trouble finding those in just your everyday flea market. So we'll probably opt and not getting to do that. And I'm not even opposed to making my own stuff and rusting it on my own. I'll find a way to put some rust on it. I know it's doable. So that's the plan with that. After that, I don't really have anything. I've got to leave a space for storage for my motorcycle because I've got to bring it up here. It's sitting in storage right now somewhere else, so I've got to get it up here, and I got to leave room in this building for it. I got plans to get a fridge in here. I'm going to have my workstation over here. That's where I will do all of my video work, any editing I'm going to do. I'm going to use that plug-in and that plug-in probably to do all of that. I'll have my computer desk there, and then my editing station. I'll probably have 2 or 3 computers hooked up there before the time's all said and done. But that is okay with me. Right here on this wall, this end cap wall, I planned on doing a shelf with any of my gaming systems, or possibly a shelf for my record player. I've got a record player that I'm going to bring down here. The top wall plug-in was for a TV. I was going to wall mount a TV up high, trying to save as much space, because 12 by 24 is not the smallest shed you can have, but it's definitely not the biggest. And after I start putting stuff in here, it's going to be real noticeable how small it is. And especially, I know, because I'm painting the walls dark colored and the floor is going to be dark color, that's going to kind of make the room smaller. So I do know that going into this. So I've got to do everything I can to conserve as much space as possible to still remain the ability to walk back and forth from the front to the back as fluid and as open as possible. And that was kind of the purpose of the windows. I didn't have to put windows in there. This building, when I looked at it, was no windows in it. It had nothing in it. It was just a plain basic one. It was actually a repo. The people that had it before me turned it over because they weren't paying. And usually in instances like that, I would be always afraid that I'm going to get something that's beat up. But I had the ability to go look at it before I bought it. And when I looked at it, it looked completely fine. So I jumped on it. It was a good price. There was a discount on it for it being a repo. Didn't necessarily have to be. It was in great shape. So we went with it. And so far it's turned out great. I've enjoyed doing all this work to it. It's been, stressful and painful and, hurts the pocketbook, but I've had a good time doing it. The floor was in great shape. It wasn't like someone had been in here changing oil in the floor without putting something down and ruining the floor. So anyway, I went ahead and put these windows in for some airflow for when I want to get my air conditioning set up, because that's the plan for a window over here. And again, I know it's probably not the 100% perfect way to do it, but I'm not going to put the air unit in this indoor. I'm going to actually put the air unit in this middle door, or middle window, excuse me. I'm going to do it in the middle window. Another reason for that is the look in here. I'm trying to maintain as minimal space as possible, and it'll work better over there with what I've got to have over here. Over here, I've got to have a shelf on this wall for all of my painting supplies, any hobby activities that I'll come up with. I need to have shelf space for that. And it's not going to work over there with the air conditioner, because the air conditioner is just going to blow into that stuff and all the air is just going to get wasted anyway. If I put it over here in the middle, I have the ability of diverting it one way or the other, putting a fan up somewhere on the desk or on the workbench on the other side and blowing it around that way. So I do understand that it's usually better to put it on the lengthway of the building, but that's not the way it's going to happen this time, so get over it. Anyway, another thing, I'm not going to do anything about the ceiling. I thought about it for a long time. Not going to do it. I debated on putting some kind of insulation up. I will see how this winter goes. If this winter is freezing cold, I can tell you right now, it's been hot in here anyway. During the summer, I don't have any air in here now, so when I do come out here to check on it and see what it, make sure nothing's happened, it is hot in here. It's humid and it's. I think a lot of it has to do with the ceiling. So I've debated on not wanting to do anything with it, but we'll see how the winter goes. If the winter is frigid cold, then I'll have to do something, because I can't have both seasons just completely ruining this place. After I spent this much on insulation already, I might as well finish out doing some ceiling insulation. So that'll be the stick on that. So anyway, I'm going to probably wrap this video up. If you have any questions, comments, and concerns about what I'm doing or what you think I could be doing, feel free to comment down below. Like this video, subscribe, do all of that, bells and whistles, share the video. Let me know what you think you would do in a space like this, and maybe some idea that you have I might use in here. So yeah, you guys, I hope y'all are doing great. I know the way of the world right now is crazy and it's kind of wild, but you gotta stay positive with all this going on. This COVID situation is insane, and this channel will never be anything politic related. I refuse to talk about that stuff because that's just a good way to start a fight for no reason. Did y'all see the lights flicker? Air in the house must have cycled. I don't have air out here, but air's in the house. So every time that light flickers, I'll just die a little bit inside because I'll know that I'm standing out here in the heat with a camera like a goon trying to make a video. But anyway, stay positive and just love each other and love your neighbor and just take it easy. Times are too stressful as it is. Don't make it any harder on yourself. Just find things to do that you enjoy and do it. Don't question it. If you have the means to do it, financially, emotionally, physically, mentally, whatever the case may be, if you've got the means to do it, do it. It's life's too short to not have a good time while you're here. So just stop and be nice to each other. That's all it amounts to. That's all it amounts to. So I'm going to end this one right here, and I will see you on the next one. We're probably going to go ahead and do the walls, I think. We'll see what happens. We'll see if we can get these walls done. If I get the plywood, we'll get this stuff up, and we'll get a video on putting up some walls, and then we'll get some paint going. After that, it'll be smooth sailing. All the money spending will be over for a little bit. Just got to get this plywood ordered in. So, peace out. I love you. I'll see you on the next one. Later.